What is up? Yes. Oh man, are you? I'm getting jacked up. I'm busting out an energy drink. Haven't had one of these in a long time. James is right. I'm about a minute or two behind. About a minute or two behind. So welcome. This is going to be a great show. Great show. And oh man, this is great. Great. Oh man, busting out some David Bowie. This is awesome. This is going to be a great show. Yeah, a minute or two late. James, thank you, man. I am feeling better. I'm feeling really better. It's been a long week. Long week. Energy drink and coffee. I'm jacked up. Week 9. We're about halfway through, and before I start breaking all these games down, I just wanted to tell everybody just I want you to think about it. 3 months ago, there's a good chance that we were. I'll put here. By the way, you can always email me at the Dan Show. 3 months ago, there was talk about not even playing professional football. No college football. Nothing. And it's a great season. It's a great season. Lots of things to be excited about. So, yeah, Nick Mullins. I still think it's an improvement off Garoppolo. I like the over in the game. So I'm watching it and I'm wondering, I'm like, is San Francisco, can they score that touchdown? No, I didn't have action on it, but I really wanted the over. In his defense, the left tackle was even worse. The backup left tackle they got. I think with some good offensive line play, I'll stand by this. I think he's an improvement over Garoppolo. San Francisco has some major quarterback questions. San Francisco has some major quarterback questions. So, yeah, but I do like Nick Mullins. I think that with a decent offensive line, they can do some good things. But I like the over in the game. So if you didn't have a chance to watch or you didn't want to watch it, the over, I had the number of 50. It was 35-10, and the very last play of the game, San Francisco scores a touchdown to go from 35-10 to 35-17, which is 52, which means the over would have covered, which is what I liked. I liked the over in the game. So yeah, man, don't forget, give me a thumbs up. I'm jacked up. How's everybody else doing? I am going to break down every single game. I'm going to offer my prediction, but most important, I want to hear from you guys. Basically, if you have a question, I answer it live. That's how the show's going to work. That's how the show always works. Chris Clegg in the house. What is up, brother? Man, Chris. For those of you who do not know, I have known Chris Clegg, let's just say 35 years. 35 years. So, Chris, welcome to the Dan Show. I got some great predictions. I'm going to break down every single game, and then I already have action on one game. Jimmy, I don't know if you had a chance. I made a little bit of a video. I released it yesterday. I have one game I got action on. One game. I've been red hot lately. I've been 5-1. 5-1. And, James, I kind of owe you because I pumped him up and he hasn't performed. But I think it's a lot to do with the offensive line. So, man, I'm sorry about that. I am sorry about that. But let's do this here. Let's go ahead and let's share the screen. And don't have to look at me. Oh yeah, I got the Raiders, and I'll talk about that here in a bit. The line changed just a little bit, but I still recommend that's still my play of the week. But I'm going to go through every single one of these, and I'm going to offer my expert opinion. And we'll start off with Seattle and Buffalo. It's a over under has been increasing. It's 55.5, and here's the thing about this game. Mitch Morse, the center for the Bills, is going to be out. It may not sound like it's that big of a deal, but it is. It's a massive deal. And what it is that I know that there's it's an old school betting proverb that if you take the center away from a team, you always want to go to under the next day. And that's a big one. I think this game could be surprisingly low scoring. It was 2.5 and it went up to 3.5. I don't like the number. But I think there's a good chance Seattle covers this. 55.5. I know both teams have bad defenses, but you get Carlos Dunlap and Jamal Adams back. Well, actually, Carl Dunlap, he's going to be a new addition. And then Jamal Adams is going to be back for Seattle. I like the under in this game. I like the under in this game. You may just want to wait a little bit, but Mitch Morse being out for the Bills is massive. Losing the center is a big deal. He calls all the offensive line calls. That's going to be big because with Jamal Adams in there, you're going to have an inexperienced center trying to pick up Jamal Adams in the blitz package. That's going to be big. So be careful about this one. Jimmy says he's been getting killed on over-unders this year. I've gotten greedy and parlayed some over-unders with some spreads this season. Always win with the spread, always lose with the over. Actually, for me this year, it's been the opposite. But let's get you away from the parlays, and let's just get you one or two wins here because there's some really good games this week that I think you could bet on. I don't feel great about this one, but the play for me would be under 55.5. If you want to go with Seattle, get 3. But I like this one. James says, when I get to the Lions, my thought on how the additions of Griffins, Sanu sway the odds. James, I'm going to be real with you. I didn't know about Sanu. I did not know about Sanu. This week's been really, really bad. Normally, I can listen to a lot of football podcasts, YouTube shows. I can do a lot of stuff at my job because I have a Monday through Friday IT job. They banned all of that. All I get to listen to is this. I don't know if you can even hear that. It's just that's all I listened to for about 10 hours. It drove me out of my mind accidentally. My boss gets along with me. I took an extra break because I was doing that head bob thing. I was falling asleep because it's hard to just stare at a computer. Anyway. I'm normally a little more tuned into what's going on. The next week or two, I'm kind of relying on you guys giving me some feedback into what's going on because I'm not in touch with what's going on in the NFL as much as I normally am. And it's going to be this way for the next week or two. My schedule is also up for grabs, which means that the time I might have to back this show up, but as of right now, everything looks good. There is a chance that the show may have to start at 7:30, maybe 8. And if that's the case, then I might just go and just do a Saturday show. Work schedule, my normal 9 to 5 is crazy because I'm not professional yet, but I'm working on getting there. Denver and Atlanta, the over-under is 50. Atlanta is a 4-point favorite. This pains me to say, but I actually like Atlanta in this game. The defense is pretty damn good, And I like what they're doing on offense. So Golden Rooster, welcome, brother. He's got Buffalo in an upset. Golden Rooster, let me ask you this here, because Mitch Morse, M-O-R-S-E, former Chief, really good center, is out. And I think this is a major blow to the Bills. What makes you think that Buffalo can beat Seattle? You know they can't stop them on defense, and I think the offense is going to be very limited with losing Mitch Morse and specifically with Jamal Adams coming back, because Jamal Adams is really aggressive in that blitz package. So you have a backup center who's in charge of the offensive line calls. That matchup does not look good to me. So I feel pretty strong about Seattle winning. I just don't like 3.5. And I know, hey, listen, I know you're picking the Falcons. I get that. I don't blame you. I like Denver in this one. I really like Denver in this one. But I'm not saying they're going to win, but 4 points, I like that. I like 4 points. I get that. Golden Rooster says Seahawks have been winning too much close games. I just don't think they'll win against a high caliber team. I get that. I really do. I just don't think Buffalo's that good. I really don't. Mitch Morse going down really hurts this team. And I don't think Buffalo's that good. The defense has really regressed. But this will be a good game. The West Coast team going to an East Coast city for an East Coast game at noon is a big factor. I think under is really the right play here. I really think it's the right play. And I like Denver in 4. You're right, though. Atlanta could win. But I like Denver in 4. I think Denver actually wins this game, to tell you the truth. So. James says, by the way, I would not want to be Cousins on Sunday. If you have not seen the Everson Griffin presser, it's a much watch. And by the way, no, I haven't. Griffin took strong exception to the statement Zimmer said, stating, there was okay. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Vikings coach Zimmer stated Griffin was a good player. For those of you who don't know, Griffin, after being in Minnesota for a very long time, went to Dallas. Now he's in Detroit. He's going to play against his former team. And you know what? I miss that. That game's not on the board. That game's not. I don't have action on that one. That game's not. It's not on the board. I knew I was missing something. I apologize. Jimmy, this is another reason why I like Denver in this game. I think Denver with that win, that come from behind win, I think they have some toughness. I think they're also still theoretically in the hunt for a wild card spot. They won't make it, but I think that Denver is. I really like this game, to tell you the truth. I think the matchup's really good, and you're right. They have been impressive choke artists, and he gives a special shout out to Todd Gurley getting that TD. You know what made me so mad? I wanted to watch the whole drive after Gurley scored. I wanted to watch just that one drive. I haven't been able to do it. So, Alex, what's up, brother? Alex says, hey, Dan, how's it going? I'm doing great. My local radio station just started playing Christmas music. I made a bet with a few friends when they would start, got away with 70. Nice. That's exactly what I want to hear. Is winning some money. -4 means you bet $4 to get $1. No, the Falcons are actually a 4-point favorite. So yeah, that's pretty good. And Funk, welcome Funk. Patricia may need to buy Todd a watch if he still has a job next year. And then I that's the whole reason why, Jimmy. That's the whole reason. I want to watch that drive. I just want to watch that drive. And yeah, I wish I would have seen it. Man, I got some gold early on. You guys are great. You know, I'm gonna say this early, and I'm gonna say this often. If I could go out on a date with a beautiful girl or sit here and talk football with you guys, I'd rather be talking football with you guys. That's why I do. There's nothing else in the world I'd rather do than sit here and talk football. And congratulations, Alex, on winning some cash. That's awesome. When people come on the show and talk about winning money, even when it's about Christmas music, I want to hear it. You win some money, please tell me about it. Please tell me about it. Alex points out Tennessee is going to beat the Bears coming off an embarrassing defeat against the Bengals and must be angry. Henry is gonna smoke them. That's going to be a fun game. That's going to be a fun game. Matter of fact, it's kind of interesting that she said that. And oh God, James. Okay, I gotta stop here. All right. By the way, James, of course I've seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High. This is actually, okay, everybody knows about the scene where I don't remember the girl's name, but the girl gets topless. This is my favorite scene. If you're not familiar with this, all right, what happens is Forrest Whitaker's younger brother and Spicoli wreck his brother's prized Corvette. So they can't figure out what to do. So what they do is they park it in front of the school and the opposing school's name, and I don't remember the name of the school, and they wrote all over it, "We rule, you suck." And he just goes out there and it's my favorite scene in the whole movie. James, yes, man. Man. Oh man, that was Everson Griffin in the press. You know what? I want to watch. You know what I did? This is a true story, James. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I YouTubed just that 3 minutes of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I love that. So yes. Oh man, over under is more of a gamble than straight wins and losses. It's yes. What it is that the over under. Well, okay. The over. Trying to think here. The over under is the total points, and I don't know. See, for me, I've been this year. Me and you can call me Funk. Completely disagree because he's been getting killed on the over unders. I've been making more money on the over unders. Depending on how you look at it, it's not. I would say no. Jimmy Stoneful would probably say yes. I don't think it is. Now, see, every single game, it's something different. This game, I think the smart bet is the under. For this game, I think Denver +4 is the smart bet. For the Bears and Titans, I think the over is the better bet. It really depends on how you look at it. There's what's the expression? There's more than one way to skin a cat. That's what I look at when I look at these games. Is I look at, hey, what's the best way to make money? Is it, to answer your question, is over under more of a gamble than straight wins or losses? I'm going to tell you no, but somebody else may tell you something different. James this week, yes. And then after that, and he's talking about Everson Griffin. Man. Wildcats. Is it that's the one with Goldie Hawn. You remember how many big names are in it? Woody Harrelson, Wesley Snipes, Goldie Hawn. And that's her name. Phoebe Cates coming out of pool scene is, dude, she apparently still looks fantastic today. And now I want to watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So, Denver Gator, what is up, brother? What is up, man? Apparently, we are all going to talk about Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I'm not joking. I might go and find that movie and watch it after the show. I'm not joking. The scene where Forrest Whitaker destroys the other team. I literally just watched those 3 minutes like last week. I am not joking. I'm going to say this though. My favorite football movie is Any Given Sunday. I love Any Given Sunday. Great movie. Now we're getting way off track here. This, by the way, you guys are gold. I should be giving you the thumbs up, but give me a thumbs up anyway, even though you guys deserve it. Chicago at Tennessee. The over-under is 47. Tennessee's almost a touchdown favorite. And I am, excuse me, just 1 second. Alex, yeah. Alex, I agree with you here. I agree with you here. And what it is that I think Tennessee is going to win this game. 6.5 is a big number, but I do think that I like the over in this one because I think it's going to be a little more scoring. I think Chicago is going to be able to score against this Tennessee defense, but I think Derrick Henry's primed for a big game. Love Fast Times. Just watched Remo Williams last night. Remo Williams? Denver, man, I'm sorry, dude. Remo Williams. I actually don't know what that is. Remo Williams. I'm sorry, brother. I have no idea what that is. Anybody else want to film? Man, you tell me about it. Tell me. I don't know. I don't know. But I do want to watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I have not seen that in a long time. But just recently, I watched that Whitaker clip, and he also does a cameo in one of my other favorite movies of all time, The Color of Money. If you've ever seen that, one of my all-time favorite movies. I like the over. I'm a fan of the over here. Chris Clegg, me and Chris, there's a lot of stories that are not fit for YouTube that me and Chris have had some off. Remember the Titans is a good one. A lot of good actors in that movie. A lot of big name actors in the movie. Besides Denzel Washington. Good movie. I don't know if you remember, Chris, but me and you and I can't remember who was with. I think it was Sean. We're going to go to the movie theater and watch Any Given Sunday, and we weren't able to. Man, I don't want to go off topic here, but me and you could literally talk about some of the things that we've done in our past for a very long time. I remember me and you were going to go see Any Given Sunday. You were dropping your girlfriend off at my apartment in Independence, if you remember that. And I'm gonna kind of get back on track here. This game will be a shootout, even with the Bears' great defense. I 100% agree with you, Alex. I like the over a lot. I'm surprised it's as low as 47. I really am. Oh, man, the Replacements and Waterboy. Both of those. Denver Gator comes in with some gold. I've seen Waterboy several times. Great movie. I also am a really big fan of the Replacements. If you're not familiar with the movie Replacements, it was based off a true story. The strike year, the Washington Redskins came back. The Dallas Cowboys had almost the whole team came back. And the Washington Redskins had just replacement players, and the replacement players beat the Dallas Cowboys the last game of the season. That actually did happen. But the movie Replacements is I have to admit I'm a Keanu Reeves fan. Even though the remake Bill and Ted was not great, there was a few funny moments, but the original Bill and Ted movie is one of my favorites. So I like Keanu Reeves. But Replacements and Waterboy, two excellent football movies. Funk can agree with this. Oh man, James, The Blind Side was pretty well thought of, a sports flick. Sandra Bullock was fantastic in it, and I also thought it was really cool. They had all the SEC coaches on board, including Nick Saban when he was at LSU, and they even talked about it. Oh, he's going to take the Dolphins job. I thought that was pretty cool, and I always like it when they have sports movies that have real coaches or players involved. That was the thing I liked about Any Given Sunday, is that it was every coach that the Miami Sharks played against was a former NFL player. It was Butkus. Oh God, what's his name? The former lineman for the 49ers. Guy used to eat raw meat. I'm drawing a blank on his name. And then of course my favorite, Johnny U, which James, by the way, we are going to do a retro episode, and we're going to talk about how great Johnny U is in the retro episode. Alex breaks into, I watched the new Bill and Ted movie, thought it was really good. Wouldn't care for a sequel though. Just felt it was I did watch the original, not the I forget what the second one was. The original Bill and Ted, one of my favorite movies of all time. I didn't think it was really good. There was some funny parts in it, but it was the guy that plays Bill, I don't know what other things he's done, but I think Keanu Reeves was like, yeah, I'll get a paycheck. So the backer and replacement started everything in MCU with Iron Man 1. Well, actually, if you haven't seen Rounder, or was it? I think it's Rounders. He's in it with Vince Vaughn. They all talk about money. You got Rounders. You gotta see Rounders. Dan can never stay on topic. Toxic. You know what? Can you blame me? I got an energy drink. I got coffee. I'm sitting here. I'm jacked up. Hey, we talk about what you want to talk about. So yes, I'm sorry, Funk. I am off topic though. Rocky, the first one, was really good. One of my all-time favorite movies, James. One of my all-time favorite movies is Rocky. I love it. I'm a fan of the others. I haven't seen Creed yet, but I always watched Rocky movies. The first one's easily my favorite. What's the one with Wahlberg? Oh, that's actually a really good one. Jerry Ryan is in it. It's based off a true story, and I'm drawing a complete blank of oh God, which one is it? Which one is it? Invincible. Yeah, and it is. And by the way, Chris, you're right. It's a good movie. It is a good movie based off a true story. If you're not familiar with it, Dick Vermeil, when he took over as head coach, of the Philadelphia Eagles, just had open tryouts. True story. Open tryouts. Only one guy made the team, but he ended up playing for a couple years. And he actually did score a touchdown in a game. So I'm going to get back on track here. If you got the ball, you got me. I can't think of the guy's name now. But I think the first movie is a movie. I want to call it Rounders, one of the best movies. Vince Vaughn. It's Vince Vaughn's first movie, and he's on a large amount of cocaine. Rounders. You're right. Okay, another great movie. What is the movie then where they're comedians and they all talk about it? I have to get back to it now. But Rounders, by the way, is a great movie. One of my all-time favorites. The Colts have no chance, and that's the next game we're going to get to here. So, by the way, Jimmy, I was hoping you guys could talk about this because uh, right before I did the show, Swingers. That's the movie. Okay, I'm going to get back. Swingers. That's it. Yeah, Swingers is a great movie. Swingers is a great movie. The line switched rapidly within the last couple hours. Baltimore was a 2-point favorite and it switched. If you guys don't know anything else, when a team switches 3 points, it's a big spread. So something happened. I was hoping you guys could tell me because when I was doing show prep, Baltimore was a 2-point favorite. I liked Baltimore as a 2-point favorite. For some reason or another, something happened. I don't know what happened, but it was something major. So one of you guys know, yeah, Jimmy, do take the money line because Baltimore I'm not joking. When I come home for lunch, I looked at everything. Baltimore's a 2-point favorite, and then I saw 1, and then I had to double check and make sure something happened. And I don't think it's the Ronnie Stanley move. By the way, if you don't know, Ronnie Stanley signed that big contract. Left tackle for the Ravens, out for the season. Still, I don't think that's that big of a deal. Still take Baltimore. Baltimore's going to win this game. So I do like James is here. I do like the song by Survivor, Burning Heart, and Rocky. By the way, Rocky 4, one of the best all-time soundtracks. One of the best all-time soundtracks. Great soundtrack. Just absolutely love it. Alex points out, I have no idea why you would choose Indy after looking at their defense and Baltimore's offense. Just makes 0 sense. Well, what it is that Indianapolis has, I think it's the second best run defense in the NFL, but I think that they're just going to go against a buzzsaw in Baltimore. I have only one game I put action on. All my action I'm going to try to stay on topic here, but all my action went into the election. That's all I'm going to say. So I only have action on one game, which I'm going to break down last, but this is a good one. This is a good one. I would strongly suggest you take Baltimore in this one. And by the way, Swingers is a fantastic movie if you've never seen it. James, of course, Caddyshack is in my DVD collection, and it is a great movie. Again, thanks for reminding me. Swingers. What was I saying? Rounders. Both Rounders and Swingers are 2 of my favorite movies. Young Guns 2 is the best soundtrack. I don't know which one's 1 or 2, but my sister was obsessed with it. Chris brings in Rudy. I'm going. Oh man, I'm going to get some flack here. I've never seen Rudy. A little known fact: I've never seen it, but Joe Montana was on that team, and he really did get a sack on the last game, but they didn't, lift him up on his shoulders or anything like that. Joe Montana was talking about. It was like, yeah, he got a sack, and then we all went back inside. It was no big deal, but. I've never seen it, man. I've never seen it. I've never seen Rudy. I feel bad. A couple of old 70s movies that are football related. Brian's song. It will make almost everybody cry. And I'm drawing a blank on the movie. I have no idea the name of it. It's the one based on the Penn State running back. His son or his brother was dying of cancer. It was made in the 70s, and he was the first person to win Heisman Trophy, dedicated the Heisman to his somebody here has to know. It's a great movie, but Music City guy is going to chime in. Rudy was offside. Rudy is another movie that has the John guy from Iron Man. John, he's in Rudy. I did that. Chris says, never talk to me again. Chris, I'm sorry, man. I've never seen Rudy. Um, but Chris, it's so great to see you in the chat. And I had no idea that Jon Favreau was in Rudy. And Rudy was offsides. So, of course, he got sacked. He was offsides. All right. Yeah. Speaking of Notre Dame, don't have units personally, but if you do, look for Notre Dame. You know what? I almost put action on this, but Clemson's a 6.5 point favorite last I looked. I disagree with you. I think Clemson wins this game. The backup quarterback, I think they got all the jitters out of the way. I'm not buying into Notre Dame being as good as Clemson. By the way, on a different rant completely, isn't it weird that Notre Dame is part of the ACC? James puts in the movie Mask, the one starring Cher, Sam Elliott came out. Oh, that is a great movie, great soundtrack. You are correct. And a Music City guy points in, are you talking about? No, that's not the movie. By the way, the Ernie Davis story is fantastic. It is fantastic. And you know what? I'm sorry, guys. I've got to do this. It is absolutely driving me nuts. I can't think of the name of that movie. I'm actually going to look it up. Something for Joey. Okay, it's Something for Joey. And it was made in 1977. And it's a great movie. But the Ernie Davis story, I forgot that. That one is great. By the way, that one is great. That is a great movie. The actor who did Jim Brown was fantastic. Because if you watch the movie, Jim Brown was not liked by anybody. He was an arrogant prick because he is the greatest football player who ever lived. But Jim Brown said he would have no problems blocking for Ernie Davis. And by the way, if Ernie Davis lived, Ernie Davis may be the greatest running back who ever lived. Wow, weird rant. So sorry about that, guys. But yes, something happened because this line changed quickly. I do like Baltimore in this one. Next movie we have is a great movie, Brian's Song. Great movie. It's something about Joey. That was one I just anyway. Try to get back on track here. Carolina at Kansas City. The over-under is 52.5. Kansas City's a 10.5 point favorite. I like the over in this game. Now, if you don't know, Chris Jones was tested positive for COVID. Now he's practicing. I think he's going to play. And this is an interesting. I want to see how Carolina performs in this one against a really good team that they should lose against. Because are they going to be able to hang with them, or are they just going to fall apart? I like the over in this game. I know it's a big number, and I know Carolina's got a good defense, but I like the over in this one. I'm not putting action on this one, but the over is 52.5. Keep in mind, Kansas City can put up points on anybody. So Mask was amazing. I used to call people Rocky Denise when I was younger because I was in that. That was a great movie. That was a great movie. Cher and okay. I'm not going to go off on a Cher tangent, but Cher in that movie was fantastic. Kansas City in the over. I agree with you, Denver Gator, absolutely. Houston and Jacksonville. The over-under is 50.5. You got the young quarterback. I really think that I didn't put it down here. Jacksonville's a 7-point favorite. If you can get under a touchdown with Houston, you may want to take that. I like the over because even though Jacksonville's going with the young quarterback, I really think Houston's going to score at least 30. I think that what you're going to see is Jacksonville get some garbage touchdowns late in this game to put it over 50.5. Very similar to what happened on Thursday night. If you can get less than a touchdown, though, taking Houston's not a bad bet. Alex points in Kansas City's going to beat the Panthers. I love PJ Walker, but I believe Carolina will put him in for part of the game, but I don't see him beating that KC defense. No, I would be shocked. I would be shocked if they won, but I want to see how they perform because Christian McCaffrey is going to come back. How's he going to look? I like the over in this game. I think Carolina will score some points, but I don't think it's going to be a good game. I'm hoping I'm hoping it's very similar to what I saw last week, where Kansas City wins by 4 or 5 touchdowns. Hey man, I still got the bet slip for Houston over 7.5 wins. Yeah. By the way, this is awesome, and this is a good game. I almost put action on this one, but last I looked, Michigan was still 3.5-point favorite. I am going to DVR this game because this is going to be a fun game to watch. I think Michigan's is going to win this game big, but I want to see Indiana play. Indiana's been doing a really good job recruiting, and that game against Penn State was awesome. So, yeah. How do you think there being no tape on Luton affects Jacksonville and Houston? It is going to have an effect. I think that Minshew is capable of being a starter. I like Minshew. But here's the thing. It's going to affect it enough. And that's kind of why I like over 50.5, because I think Houston has a good offense, and I think Jacksonville's kind of falling apart. So I think it's safe to say, and I didn't break down all the minor small bets that you can make, like over the first half, over for the team, and all that stuff. I'm just doing over-unders and point spreads. But ultimately, I think the over is a safe bet because at this point here, because there is no tape, Jacksonville's going to score some points. They're not going to be shut out to nothing. It's not like the Dallas Cowboys situation where they're going to their 4th-string quarterback. This is a guy who can actually play a little bit. He's not the guy that you want playing long time. He's not a guy you want playing for over a month. But I like the over in this game. James puts down the only thing that would make Michigan getting pounded even better is if the game was in a snowstorm. This is going to be a fun game. I have not done it yet, but I am DVRing this game. I'm going to watch it. The Michigan quarterback is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I think he's a sophomore, and he's going to be very exciting for Michigan fans to watch. If you're wondering, is he an NFL quarterback? Absolutely not. He's probably going to play tight end. I talked about this Wednesday. He reminds me a lot of Logan Thomas. But because he has Jim Harbaugh, former NFL quarterback, it wouldn't surprise me if he stays in school all 3 years. If his senior year, he's a Heisman candidate. Maybe a Heisman candidate his junior year, but he can play. He's not a candidate this year. No way. Could he be a candidate next year? He would have to greatly improve because Michigan has weapons. But he's going to be a lot of fun to watch. A lot of fun to watch. But I'm also anxious to watch Indiana because I would love to see Indiana go undefeated, or at least, until they play Ohio State. And I haven't even begun to look at Indiana's schedule yet. But I am DVRing this game. Alex says Houston's going to go 8-8 if they can beat Jacksonville. You'll get your money. I hope so. I got 250 on it. I got right now my yearly bets. Seattle over 9.5. Seattle to win the division. That puts me at over $1,000. That puts me in the positive by itself. I have Houston over 7.5 wins. That one I'm not looking very good on. I got the Patriots over 9 wins. Right now, that looks really bad. But that can also turn around, too. I got the Saints over 10.5 wins. I feel good about that, even though we haven't talked about the Saints yet. So Jimmy says he hopes Alex is right. And then Luton does have a big arm. Luton does have a big arm. I like I said, I like the over in this one, but the reason why I like the over is I think Houston's going to put up over 30 pretty easily. Jimmy says it looks like the Eagles are going to win the NFC East with 4. It doesn't matter how they get there. It doesn't matter how they get there. It doesn't matter how they get there as long as they win. If I remember right, it's plus 122 is what you got. Pete, welcome, brother. I hope everyone is doing well today. Pete, we did not go off topic at all. It's been pure 100% NFL football. If you get a chance, listen to rebroadcast because we kind of went way off topic talking about sports movies. And then we want to kind of movie rant. And that's on me because I'm drinking both coffee and an energy drink. I am so jacked up. James wants to know, by the way, what did I think of Mel Tucker's first win? Well, I thought he was a good coach at Colorado. I thought he did a really good job. I wasn't sure because he took the job very late, so I wasn't sure what the recruiting process what he would be able to do. But the one thing I will say that, and I didn't know this until I watched the game, is that he brought in a lot of talent from the Southeast. That freshman wide receiver, 4-star receiver from Georgia, I didn't know he could do that because if you're a Michigan or Michigan State, you mainly recruit in, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio. Those are where you get your players. But if you can get SEC speed, you can get players from Georgia and Florida to come up to East Lansing. That's impressive. And that receiver who had, I think it was like 8 catches, 200 yards or something. He's a pure freshman. That's impressive. In college football, and it's more with college basketball, but let's talk about just football. With college football, it's just getting the players to come. It's getting the players to arrive at your school. Can you bring the talent? And the fact that Mel Tucker is able to bring SEC players up to East Lansing, that's impressive. That's impressive. Michigan's always been able to recruit across the country. Matter of fact, that quarterback's also from Florida. But if he can bring SEC caliber players to East Lansing, that's extremely impressive. And the fact that they have young players, that was really good. It was a big win, very big win. Alex says we have 3 defensive guys because of COVID. Martin, Mariclos, and Dylan Cole, 2 of them D-line starters. I actually did not know that, but it also makes my over 50.5 look a lot better. I don't think this is going to be a great shootout, but I think Houston's going to score at least 30, and I think Jacksonville is going to surprise some people. I like the over in this game, but if you can get under a touchdown, I would feel good about that. If you're looking at trying to cover 7.5, I'd feel a little worry about it. But Denver Gator says Indiana beats Michigan tomorrow, and this is for you, Pete. Just don't scroll up because we went on a weird rant. But like I said, we talk about what you want to talk about. This is your show. But by the way, guys, don't forget, give me a thumbs up. I'm doing a thumbs up. You can't even see me. So, Pete's, let's get at it. Alex says, as long as the Cowboys have sour Christmas, I don't care. I want the division to have no winning teams. Just give it to the Cowboys. Hope that they can somehow get into the playoffs just for those hopes to die. Oh, my God. Alex, this is pure gold, brother. This is pure gold. The Jags in Houston game wouldn't surprise me, Dan, if it hits under. Wet, muddy game, raining is all right. Okay, Pete, this is a good point. But one thing that I want to tell you is that rain doesn't matter. It's usually wind. Rain, snow, you can still have high scoring games in both rain and snow. It's about the wind, but I did not have the chance to check the weather report. This week was very challenging, and for the next couple of weeks, normally at my 9 to 5 job, I can listen to football podcasts. I can stay up to the date. That's all been taken away. There's been a bunch of new restrictions. So I'm kind of in the dark. So I really kind of need input from you guys to tell me what's going on. So I was not aware of this, but rain does not affect over under. It really doesn't. A matter of fact, a lot of times it can help because the defensive back's on a back pedal. The receiver knows when he's going to cut. The defensive back doesn't. Especially a team that has a really good quarterback like Deshaun Watson. But this is good information to know. Music City guy, Indiana has a very real chance to get its first 10 wins. Absolutely, they do. This is Indiana, Michigan's a massive, massive game because some people thought this would be the year that Michigan could take over could take over the Big Ten by beating Ohio State. That's not going to happen. Ohio State is loaded. But it's really good that some other teams are doing good in the Big Ten besides Ohio State. I thought Michigan might be able to compete with them. Probably not this year, but Indiana is looking really good. Wisconsin always looks decent. But anyway, I'm going to kind of get back on track here. Pete's yeah, Ricky White. True freshman from Georgia went to East Lansing. I think the first game of the season, the game they lost, he only had like one catch, and he just blows up on Michigan. So, yeah, he's going to be he looks like an NFL player, by the way. Jimmy, you're 100% right. That's why I took the under on the Browns-Raiders game. I got in late because it was like 53.5. I got 49.5. Kickoff, it was like 44.5. And I looked on the weather report. It was like 20-mile-an-hour winds. It was like 35 to 40-mile-an-hour winds. But again, wind is the number one factor in games. Not rain, not cold. But if it's bad weather, if it's rain plus wind, that will make a difference. And that's something I didn't know. So Pete, thanks for enlightening. That's what we're here for, is to help each other make some money. So Alex says, I'm very petty when it comes to Dallas. I truly dislike the city and team. If Houston goes down, this is awesome, by the way. Alex, I cannot tell you how much gold this is. And the only thing that could be any better is, and it won't happen because I have been nailing Dallas for years. All right. When they went, Dak Prescott's first year, 4 years ago, they went 12-4. I worked with a bunch of Cowboys fans, and I predicted that they weren't going to have a good season. They were probably going to be about 500 season. And that's when I started my YouTube channel. So all the Cowboys fans universally decided they weren't going to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I was trashing the Cowboys. I said, I'm not trashing them. I'm telling you right now, they went from 4 wins to 12 wins. They'll probably come down around 8 or 9. They went 9-7. And I've been nailing Dallas. I told everybody, this is not a Super Bowl team. This is a rebuild year. I didn't think they were going to be this bad. But I've been saying this. and it just hadn't worked out for Dallas. I have got a great bead on the Dallas Cowboys. And I've been telling everybody, this is not that good of a team. I should have put action on under 10. One of my biggest regrets. I agree 100%, and that this is going to be the next game. Is that I actually like the Giants to win outright. And Pete, I'm thinking that we're going to be on the same wavelength here because I like the Giants. They're a 2.5-point dog. I think the Giants win this game outright. They looked pretty good against Tampa Bay, and I just think that Washington's kind of in a weird funk right now. I actually probably won't have a chance to watch this game. I'll be ingrained this weekend. Normally, I'm able to DVR a couple games. And I watch the Red Zone. This weekend, I'll be spending some time with my dad. We're going to watch the Chiefs game together. So I'm not going to be able to go back and forth like I normally do. But I'm going to try to watch as much of this Giants-Redskins game as I can. Because and you're going to say, why the hell do you want to watch this? I want to see how the defense for the Giants is playing some really good ball. The defense for the Giants is playing some really good ball. And I kind of want to pay attention. I think the Giants are a team that's really going in the right direction. Probably still looking at 3 to 5 wins, but they're in the right direction. And I think they win this game. I just think they win this game. Colorado Buffs fans, according to James, Colorado Buffs fans felt pretty jaded when Tucker bolted the Michigan. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They were not happy. And by the way, I don't remember the ties that Mel has with Michigan State, but I know there was something about it. But one thing about Colorado is that it's a tough school to recruit at, because it's even though Colorado, a lot of people think it's the West, it's really right in the middle of the Midwest. You go an hour east during Kansas, in western Kansas, and I'm telling you this because I've driven through Denver many times. All right, downtown Denver is pretty cool. You get the mountains and everything, but you go a mile east, you're in western Kansas. There is nothing there. Recruiting in Colorado is a complete bitch, because when they were in the Big Ten, they were trying to get kids from Texas. It's hard to get a kid from Texas hey, come to the mountains where it's cold, 99.9% white. And, by the way, when the Buffaloes won in the 90s, there was a lot of racial problems with the black players being integrated into Colorado. I wasn't sure if you're aware of that. But Denver's a tough place to recruit. It really is. It really is. Now they're trying to recruit kids from California, which I guess geographically sort of kind of makes a lot more sense. But the Michigan State job, you just have access to so many more resources. And then you also have the pipeline of Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. It's a lot easier to recruit from. Those are 3 really big popular high school beds. The 2 biggest popular high school beds are Texas and California. The Southeast is the big one. Of course, Florida, Georgia, those guys there. But that Northeast region, actually New York's also a big pipeline, but you got Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan. And that's kind of the reason why I thought that if he could get there and he can recruit in that area, that's good. But if he can get SEC talent in the South, that's massive. That's massive. Denver Gator, not biased. My bold takes: Denver, Florida, Gators, and Notre Dame beats Clemson, all underdogs. I like Denver. I actually do like Denver, and I like Denver quite a bit, actually. Florida. Okay. Florida. Okay, we didn't talk about this. Florida will play Georgia in the world's largest cocktail party. For those of you who don't know, Florida and Georgia play every year in what's called the world's largest cocktail party. It's in Jacksonville, Florida. Did you put action on this? Somebody I know put action on this, and it may have been you, but 3. I think Georgia's a 4-point favorite. I don't know about Georgia. Georgia's loaded, but that's going to be a fun game. I actually don't have that on my DVR. Notre Dame beating Clemson. I will give you all the props in the world, but I do not see it. Alex says that Dallas will be decimated by Pittsburgh. The Cowboys will put up some type of a fight, but they ain't going to win. No, they're not going to win. The line at 14.5 for an NFL spread is silly. It's very silly. Just with the offensive line being as bad as it is, I like the over still, but this could be a 31-0 game, and I may look like a complete fool. I'll tell you this right now: if you're going to bet, I would not bet this one. I really would not bet this one. If you are going to take it, you may want to take Pittsburgh. But 14 is in the NFL is a tough one. Pete will say Pittsburgh-Dallas game over and Dallas covers. That to me could make some sense. I like the over in this game. I like the over in this game. We kind of glossed over this one because we talked about this. I like the Giants to win outright, but that's kind of where we're at. James says he didn't know Tucker had connect. Yeah, he was the offensive coordinator with Georgia, and then he went from being the offensive coordinator in Georgia to the head coach at Colorado, and then he had a really good season. He parlayed that to a better job. And I actually, I'm not trashing Colorado by any stretch, but it's a very, very hard place to recruit. Michigan State's an upgrade over Colorado. Everybody knows that. But yeah, he was offensive coordinator in Georgia, and he is able to keep some of those SEC connections, and that's massive. So if you're a Michigan State fan, watch out, because if he can get some players from the Southeast combined with being able to recruit, because Michigan State's always been able to recruit pretty good players. I'm talking like 2- and 3-star players. If they can get some 3- and 4-star players from the Southeast, they're going to build something really good. That you should be very excited right now if you're a Michigan State fan. Miami, Arizona game. Over Arizona wins by 7+. I could see that. Yes. I think Miami had a really fluky game. I like Arizona in this one. Bottom line, I like Arizona in this one. I like the over, though. I think the over is really the play because I don't think Miami's defense is ready. But I do think that they'll score enough points. I like the over in this game. But, yeah, Pete, you're 100% correct. Denver Gator, to Buffs fans or diehard fans, great fan base. I'm less than an hour. You're right. Let me tell you something. The fan base is great. It's just recruiting in Denver is so difficult. It is so difficult because you're too far away. I mean, you're looking at trying. You can't really recruit anybody from South. Okay, when you were in the Big 8, in the Big 12. You have to recruit players from Texas. And Bill McCarthy, what he did is he was able to recruit players from California. And I forget how, but he was able to get a bunch of players from California. But bottom line, if you're in the Big 10 or what's now the Big 12 or former Big 8, to be successful, you have got to recruit from Texas. And if you're in Denver, selling a Texas kid on Denver is very hard to do. If you're a 4- or 5-star player in California, selling Denver's also a hard sell. Here's the thing: Colorado or Denver is such a hard. Yeah, you're right. Exactly, and that's why the job is that's why the Michigan State job is so much better. The fan base in Colorado is great, but you don't have a high recruiting budget. And you got to go out of state. It's really a tough place to recruit. So, oh yeah, Texas high school football is without question the best in the United States, bar none. Bar none. Texas high schools will have anywhere from 10 to 15 Division I players, where a lot of schools will maybe have like 1 or 2 guys. So yeah. The Tony Mandrich story. There was I don't want to go on too off topic, but Marty Schottenheimer interviewed him and just told him point blank, hey, you're on steroids. And he just looked at Marty and said, well, just don't draft me. They ended up drafting Derek Thomas. That worked out pretty good for the Chiefs, but Alex, 100%. World's largest. Yeah, I don't understand the appeal of the little brown jug at all. The little brown jug, the world's largest. I will say this: I would rather watch Alabama Auburn. That's probably going to be a better game than Michigan Ohio State. But the best college football rivalry of all time is easily Michigan Ohio State. Because I haven't seen Chris is going to keep. Chris, I will watch this one of these days, but I haven't seen it. Okay, you're the one who put action on the Gators. You got 3.5, right? Denver Gator does have action on the Gators. And listen, man, you know this. I am going to pull for you. I'm pulling for you. It's just Georgia is loaded. Georgia is loaded. By the way, I'm going to talk about this quite a bit. And I also want to try to get my boy Luke G involved because Florida has this tight end. And I think his last name's Pitts, I think could go top 10. And I know this a few months ago, there was Luke G did a show where he debated never draft the tight end in the top 10 with a guy who swore up and down never draft tight end in the top 10. Florida has a guy who's probably going to be a top 10 player. It depends a lot on the combine stuff, but that tight end that Florida has, great player. Great player. James will say, well, much of the Big 12 Pac-10 countries either too hot or too cold or it rains. It's a lot of it also has to do with money. I mean, let's be clear. A lot of it has to do with money and opportunity. When the Colorado Buffaloes have a good team, Denver Gators right. The Colorado Buffalo fan base is good. It's just Denver's such a hard place to recruit because what you're looking at in Texas, you have to realize you're trying to sell a kid 1,000 miles to play for a team where you're probably going to have a losing record most of the time. It's a tough sell, man. It's a tough sell. And by the way, Colorado was really pissed. They were really pissed. They tried to make it sound like it was a great job. They offered a job to Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, who played at the University of Colorado, won a national championship there, and Eric Bieniemy was just like, I don't think so. Eric Bieniemy didn't even go to the interview. He was like, thanks. They offered him the job. It wasn't even an interview. It was like, hey, you want the job? And Eric's like, no, he didn't even. He was like, thanks, but no thanks. Pete will say, what do I know about Chris Shula? Dan, rumors are he's making a name for himself, and it isn't. Well, I know that Mike Shula was doing a good job. I'll be honest, I don't know too much about Chris Shula as of yet, but I do know this. I actually thought Mike Shula got kind of a raw deal when he was with the Bengals. He wasn't really cut out when he took the University of Alabama position, but he was doing a really good job as an offensive coordinator. I don't know too much about Chris Shula yet, but I do know this is that there's a good chance that he is going to be in line for there's going to be a lot of coaching opportunities, and I think that you'll get some really interesting candidates. Matter of fact, I was talking about this earlier. It wouldn't surprise me if Mike Kafka, who's the Chiefs quarterbacks coach, gets consideration for an NFL head coaching job. There's going to be a lot of interesting candidates for a lot of jobs. This offseason is going to be a fun one. I have to be honest, though, Pete, I've been a little behind the 8 ball here, but that's a guy I'm going to follow because I thought Mike Shula should have got another chance to be an NFL head coach. He seems to be stuck in that offensive coordinator position, but I don't know about Chris Shula. But I will say this, Mike Shula should get another chance to be an NFL head coach. He probably won't. So, yeah, they do. All right, Pete, hey, you catch up later, Pete. You have a great night. Stafford went to Texas high school and played at Georgia. Yes, he went to South, if I remember right, South Lake. It's one of the number one recruiting beds. And no, it wasn't South Lake. South Lake actually had your current backup quarterback, and I'm drawing a blank on his name, Chase Daniel. And then Chase Daniel's backup in Southgate was he actually followed him to MU and was a first-round pick. And I'm just drawing a complete blank on his name. He was the Cardinals' backup quarterback. But anyway, Stafford went to – it was a school in Dallas. I know that. And they actually had a lot of players. They had a few other players on that team that ended up going to Div 1 players, though. So, Jimmy Stoneful says Colorado has legal weed, though. Don't most football players prefer to weed? That's actually an interesting. That's actually an interesting point. A lot of NFL players are pushing for CBD or cannabis oil pills because it's non-addictive. It's kind of funny because the NFL will say you can't. That's the guy, Blaine Gabbert. Yeah, Blaine Gabbert backed up Chase Daniel at South Lake High School. Yeah. South Lake's also in the Fort Worth, Dallas area. But the NFL says, no, you can't smoke a joint, but here's a bottle of highly addictive painkillers. I'm not a fan of marijuana, so I'm kind of the wrong guy to talk about this with. But I think the NFL will push, and I think that because it's if I remember, I think New Jersey now also has legal marijuana. Marijuana in the next couple of years is going to be legal coast to coast in some way or another. And I think sooner or later it'll reach into the NFL. Should it be? That's another debate. But will it? Yes. If I had to say, hey, smoke a joint or take CBD oil or take these highly addictive painkillers, yeah, take. But hopefully the NFL will keep evolving for that. You don't have to get hooked on one of these substances. So. World's largest cocktail is more gathering at the local pub this year. Yeah, unfortunately it is, but it's a cool name. And I'm going to do a ton of draft stuff. I am going to do a ton of draft stuff, but you're right. Pitts will get recognition. I think he could go top 10 as a tight end. He is. If you haven't had a chance to watch this guy play, this guy's good. This guy is really good. Shula, QB coach for the Broncos under Shermer. Shula was Cam's OC. And okay, so because Mike Shula was Cam's offensive coordinator, so his brother was the quarterback's coach. I didn't know that. I actually didn't know that. That was actually the first time. But Mike Shula deserves another chance to be an NFL head coach, whether he'll get one. Maybe he doesn't want one. I don't know, but I think he's a damn good coach. I didn't know that his brother was also in the coaching ranks. So something I learned. So next, and I'm going to get a lot of people that want to disagree. A lot of you are not going to agree with this. I'm sorry. We were talking college here. Saints at Tampa Bay. The over-under is 50.5. Tampa Bay's a 4.5-point favorite. I like the Saints to win this game. You know what? Because if this is a late game, if this game hits, I might go ahead and take this game. I like the Saints outright. I do. I really do. So I expect to get some hate from you guys, but that's just kind of how I feel. I like the Saints in this one. Denver Gator, the CBD is anti-inflammatory medical purposes. The NFL still frowns on the THC. CBD doesn't get you high. No THC. Yeah, I've been hearing about it. I don't do CBD at all. I don't do CBD, and again, I'm very anti-marijuana. So I kind of don't, and this probably is wrong, but the CBD, the THC without THC, I don't want to be. I'm very much against it. I make it sound like I'm sticking the mud, but that's just how I feel. But I also think that the NFL just handing bottles of highly addictive painkillers to NFL athletes in pain is irresponsible. So a lot of things are going to be done in the next several years regarding this. So Alex, I'm taking Tampa here. I don't see the Saints taking it. I trust Tampa defense more than I trust the Saints. You do have a good point. And don't forget, this is the Anthony Brown come out, or I'm sorry, Anthony. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm drawing a blank. Antonio Brown coming out party, but Michael Thomas is going to play. Michael Thomas, last year, everybody was said he's the best receiver in football, had the NFL single season reception record. Him coming into this game, I think, really adds a dimension to the Saints. I also like the way the Saints defense is improving a little bit. And I'm not sold about. I know Antonio Brown. I'm messing up big time here, man. Thanks, Alex. And Alex, look, man, this is always going to be a show where we can agree to disagree, man. This is never going to be a show where I talk and you listen and you have to agree with what I say. Nah, man. This is always a show where we can go back and forth. I offer my opinion. I want to hear what you have to say, and I like the Saints to win outright. That's why I like 4.5. I think it's going to go up to 5 because I think a lot of people like Antonio Brown and are going to go ahead and jump on that Tampa Bay bandwagon. But I think the Saints have the better team. I really do. Monday Night Football, New England at the Jets. The over-under is 41.5. And I would lean towards the under, because I think it's going to be a defensive game, but 41.5 is such a small number. It's such a small number. Yeah, this is bad on me, Jimmy, and I'm sorry. This is the one game that's off the books because they're thinking about rescheduling it. It's not set in stone yet. That's why it's not on my bookie. Let me go to Vegas here real fast. It looks like Vegas odds have Minnesota as it looks like it opened at 2.5. It's now 4. The over under opened at 54. That doesn't sound right at all. And it's been dropping to 52.5. And Circa Sports you can get at 50. Looks like everywhere between 4 and 5. Some places 5, Circa Sports 4.5. Westgate, where I would play, would be at 4. So this game was off the books. You can't use my bookie on it. That's why I glossed over it. That was bad on me, so I apologize. So so I don't have numbers on that game except for what I just told you just now because I just looked at it. Lazy on my part, so I apologize, Jimmy. But I don't have any other information, and I should have because I know I got some Lions fans. So the truth be told, I do like Minnesota in this game, but there's all sorts of weird stuff going on right now, and unfortunately, I don't have the answers. So, hey, man, hey, thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man. It's probably a game I'm going to skip, and I suggest you do the same. Denver Gator, I'm thinking Tampa over. I normally would, but I like the Saints' defense is getting better, and Tampa's defense is solid. Tampa's defense is solid. I wouldn't hate you for taking over, but I just think the Saints are going to win outright. I don't see in a blowout win either way. I just don't see the Saints overtaking the Tampa defense. Hey, man, that's why we're here, brother. That's why we're here. Talk football with guys that talk football. Talk football with guys that put their money where their mouth is. I'm putting my money where my mouth is, not on this game, but I do like the Saints in this one. The Jets are a dumpster fire, can't touch their games this year. Well, yeah, I if you had to say, Dan, put some action down. I'm taking the Patriots in 8.5, but I would prefer not to do that. I would normally jump all over to over, but the Jets might be lucky to score. What they score at Arrowhead? 9? So this I disagree. They will get one. They will get one. They will get one. But you know what? I'm not sure where. But I really think that they'll get one. But I would not touch that Monday night game. I actually want to see how the Patriots rebound. I got the Patriots over 9 wins, so I want them to look good. finally, you know what, Jimmy? Let's do it right now, man. Let's do it. You know what? I always promote, if you have a question, I have an answer. And here's the thing, it usually ends up being a fluke. Okay, I'll give you a win. I'll give you a win. 2 weeks from now, Chargers at LA. Here's where their wins could be. At Chargers, home against the Dolphins. I actually think there's a chance they could beat the Raiders. Remember last year the Raiders were hot. They went in there and the Jets blew them out like 31-3. The Browns, the last home game, I could see that being a win just right after Christmas. And by the way, the Browns game could be after when Gase gets fired. When Gase gets fired, and I think it's any time now, then the opportunity for a win jumps right up. Yeah, it could be just a simple case of when they fired a coach, but when they fired a coach, they're going to lose Patriots. They have a bye. Okay, so after this week they have a bye. And then they could beat the Chargers in LA. I could honestly see that. So this game, and then it's a bye. And they may have just been waiting for the bye. So don't be surprised if after Monday Night Football, hey man, I'll remember this. And keep in mind, don't forget to remind me. And by the way, I'm going to DVR the Georgia-Florida game. Man, I'm pulling for you, brother. It could. You declared Chargers win last. Was it against Jacksonville or did you have them against Denver? I actually don't remember that. I got the tweet though. I got the tweet, brother. I do got the tweet, but it'll be some interesting things. So real fast, the one game I do have action on. I got the Raiders as a 1.5 point dog. And the main reason I took this game is that the Chargers and Denver Gator, you tell me, the Chargers players looked like somebody died. A lot of times when you're playing Madden or you just look at fantasy football, you kind of forget that these are people playing games. You kind of forget about the human element that's involved. You kind of forget about what these players go through. You forget that these guys put in 70, 80 hours just to play those three-hour games. You forget that so much of film prep, study, practice. And when the Chargers lost that game, they looked defeated. And the Raiders can play. I'm telling you, I think the Raiders are going to the playoffs. If you've been following me for a while, I've been high on the Raiders. Are they as good as Kansas City? No. But they did beat Kansas City. I like the Raiders, and you can still get them as a pick 'em. The Chargers are doing things right. All right. The Chargers are doing things the right way. The over-under is 51.5. Coin flip. Trent Brown, the Raiders right tackle, if you don't know, they gave him an IV and air got into the bloodstream, which I'm not a doctor, but apparently it's nearly fatal. So you called the Chargers beating the Raiders. Oh, and accent. Hey, man, listen. Hey, hopefully you're on board with me with the Raiders winning because I got 100 on it. Alex says, I can see the Chargers winning it, but I say the Raiders taking it. Just my gut feeling. This is going to be a fun game. This is not a case of David versus Goliath. But let me ask you this here, man, Denver Gator, because you actually watched the game. The players for the Chargers, didn't they just look like somebody died? It looked like they weren't going to be able to bounce back. And here's the thing: the Raiders went into Cleveland. Cleveland was what, 5-2? Let me double check here. Cleveland was 5-2 at home in bad weather, and the Raiders beat them up. This was even though the score was 16-6, the Raiders had this game from start to finish. The Chargers could be up by 30 in the fourth quarter, and you're not going to feel like this is over. I think this could be a game where the Raiders actually blow them out. And Anthony Lynn's on the hot seat. You can't blow 4 games where you have a 20-point lead. You can't do it. So, hey guys, listen. Let's just go ahead. Let's wrap it up. This was a great show. I had a blast talking football movies, and just movies in general. It's one of my favorite things to do. You guys are great. But hey, even though you guys are great, you guys deserve a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if you haven't done it already. Hopefully, you will see me on the winning circle with the Raiders. Remember, I got 1.5, so even if the Chargers can win by 1 point, I still collect. But more than likely, you're going to see the Raiders win. If you have action down this week, please let me know so I can go ahead and cheer for you. Denver Gator, as soon as I get off of here, I'm going to make sure I DVR the Florida-Georgia game. I am pulling for you. I hope you can win. And don't forget, Wednesday. Hey, I hope to see all you guys Wednesday. Oh, yeah. But, James, thank you. Thank you. I am going to watch it. And, yeah, because I apologize because doing my show prep, I forgot this one. So yeah, I will watch it, man. So, hey, Jimmy, thanks a lot, brother. And I will watch it. Hey, Music City guy, thank you very much. It's weird for me as a Chiefs fan to say go Raiders, but yeah, I want the Raiders to win. So, hey, listen, have a great weekend. I will see you guys Wednesday.